So, today we're going to connect something your brain does every single day, something you barely even notice, with one of the biggest, scariest questions in all of philosophy. We're going to start with a simple little quirk in our thinking and follow it all the way to the edge of the void.
It all kicks off with something you've absolutely experienced. You know that moment, right? You're looking at your breakfast or staring up at the sky, and bam, a face just appears. Or maybe a dragon or a rabbit. It feels like a tiny bit of magic, but what you're actually seeing is a window, a direct look into how your mind is built.
And here's the thing, that's not your brain messing up. It's not a bug in the system. It is a feature. In fact, it's one of the most powerful tools you have, a genuine cognitive superpower that basically built the modern world. So let's put a name to this superpower. The best way to think about your brain is as a relentless, nonstop pattern engine. It's constantly worrying, scanning absolutely everything for shapes, for connections, for things that make sense. And it's impossible to overstate just how fundamental this is. Pattern recognition isn't just one skill your brain has. It's kind of the foundation of all of them. It's how we take all the chaotic noise from our eyes and ears and turn it into a world that we can actually navigate. I mean, just think about our ancestors. Being able to spot the pattern of a poisonous plant or the faint outline of a lion in the tall grass. That was literally the difference between living and dying. This same skill is how ancient sailors navigated by the stars, and it's how you can understand what I'm saying right now or feel their rhythm in a song. It's everything. But what happens when this amazing engine goes into overdrive? When it gets a little too eager and starts finding patterns that aren't actually there? Well, that's when our superpower starts to backfire. And this brings us to a fantastic word, apophenia. That's the technical term for when our pattern engine gets a little over-enthusiastic. It's when your brain connects dots that have no business being connected, seeing a meaningful signal where there's only random noise. You can really see the split here. On one side, you've got pattern recognition, our incredible survival tool. And on the other, you have apophenia, a cognitive bias, basically a false alarm. And you can see why evolution would favor this, right? It's much safer to mistake a shadow for a bear and be wrong than to mistake a bear for a shadow and be, well, eaten. The problem is, in our world, this constant stream of false alarms can lead us down some pretty weird paths. So here's the big takeaway. We are, at our core, walking, talking, meaning machines. We are hardwired to look for order, to find a narrative, to make the chaos make sense. And this drive is just relentless. But what happens when this machine, this incredible tool for finding meaning on the savannah, turns its gaze up to the stars and asks, what does it all mean? And boom, this is where the philosopher Albert Camus crashes the party, and he raises the stakes about as high as they can go. He basically says, look, the moment you start asking that huge question, what's the point of everything, you are forced to confront the most serious choice of all. Is life actually worth living if the universe doesn't give you an answer? So our little meaning machine is shouting its questions out into the cosmos, and all it gets back is silence. This epic clash, this cosmic mismatch between our need for meaning and the universe's quiet indifference, that is what Camus called the absurd. Now, this definition is so important. The absurd isn't the belief that life is meaningless. No, it's the conflict. It's the tension, the tug of war between us screaming for a reason and the universe just shrugging its shoulders. We're built for a relationship with the cosmos that the cosmos just isn't interested in having. And when you truly, genuinely recognize this conflict, it produces a very powerful, very unsettling feeling. It's a feeling you've probably had late at night, staring at the ceiling, thinking about, well, everything. And that feeling has a name: existential dread. It's that deep, heavy anxiety that settles in when you realize you're totally free to make your own choices. But there's no instruction manual, no pre-written script, and absolutely no cosmic safety net. And it's not just some vague philosophical concept. It shows up in real ways. It can feel like a constant low-level anxiety, a deep sense of being alone, or just a total lack of motivation. Why bother, right? Or you get stuck in these loops, constantly second-guessing every choice you've ever made. So if we're meaning machines stuck in a silent universe, and this whole situation gives us crippling anxiety, are we just doomed? Well, according to Camus, absolutely not. He offers a way out. Not a way to escape, but a way to rebel. So here's how Camus breaks it down. He says most people choose one of two escapes.
They either leap into what he calls philosophical suicide, blindly hoping in some religion or afterlife, or they give in to actual suicide. Both are a way of dodging the problem. Camus' answer is to stare the problem right in the face and live anyway, with rebellion, with passion, and with a radical sense of freedom.
And this quote is just brilliant. This rebellion isn't about being irrational or angry. It's the exact opposite. It's about using your reason so clearly that you see its limits. You see the walls of the cage you're in, and you choose to live a full and vibrant life within that cage anyway. To really hammer this idea home, Camus uses an ancient Greek myth that perfectly, beautifully captures his entire philosophy. He tells the story of Sisyphus. So Sisyphus was this king who cheated death and angered the gods. For his punishment, they gave him a task that is the very definition of pointless. He has to push a massive boulder up a steep mountain. And just as he gets to the very top, the rock rolls all the way back down to the bottom every single time, forever. His work is completely futile. It achieves nothing. This, for Camus, is a perfect picture of the human condition. We push our own rocks, our jobs, our relationships, our passions, knowing that death will eventually send them all rolling back down. So, where's the win here? But here it is. This is the crucial twist. The victory isn't getting the rock to stay up top. It's in the walk back down the mountain. In that moment, when he's not struggling with the weight, Sisyphus is free. He is totally, completely aware of his ridiculous fate. And in that conscious, clear-eyed acceptance, he is no longer a victim of his punishment. He owns it. He is stronger than his rock. And this all leads to one of the most powerful lines in all of philosophy. Camus says, we have to imagine Sisyphus happy. Not because he's deluded, not because he thinks he'll win someday. He's happy because the struggle itself is his. The meaning isn't waiting for him at the summit. The meaning is found in the act of pushing, in the defiant struggle against a hopeless task. So we come full circle, right back to you. Your brain is a meaning machine. It will always cry out for a purpose, and the universe will almost certainly stay silent. In that gap between your cry and that silence, you are Sisyphus. We all are. So the question is, what's your rock? And how can you find joy, not in conquering the mountain, but in the struggle itself?